If you have to work more than 40 hours a week on a regular basis to keep your business afloat, then your business is broken.
Oh, shoot.
We overcome business problems with hard work, and that's not solving the problem. It's actually just creating another. And by forcing yourself to work 40 hours, it forces you to solve the problems that matter most because you don't have time to mess with any of the BS. So burnout can kill your business. And when you work too hard, you do not solve the right problems and you're tempting burnout.
Hey, welcome back. What's up, Don?
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you. Welcome back to my listeners and viewers. We got Don Elliott from Gravitate back again to drop some diamonds on here on Let's Talk Marketing with In-Depth Podcast. So thanks for coming back, man.
Yeah, glad to be here. How are things going on your end?
Woo! Well, we just wrapped up Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And Thanksgiving, I didn't do any turkey or ham, just had some sweet potato pie. That's what the kids always want me to make is sweet. They don't care about anything else. Sweet potato pie.
Ah, nice.
How about you?
I did the turkey for family Thanksgiving yesterday, and I did mac and cheese for Friendsgiving on Thanksgiving Day. So that was my job.
One side and one main, huh?
Yep.
And do you have a refrigerator full of leftovers then?
Actually, we left most of the food at the houses we went to, so we just have a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Is there a reason why you don't take it home?
We don't actually eat a lot.
Okay.
Like literally, we just don't eat a lot of quantity, and so it'll end up just staying there. Whereas our friends, they have kids, and my niece and stuff. They
Totally. I got.
they can
kids.
devour.
Oh my God. Yes, and for my kids, you know who I'm talking to. Y'all be leaving nothing. So last time you were here, man, you dropped a lot of diamond bombs. And for those that haven't seen it, I'll put it in the tag. So just click above. And for those that haven't subscribed, please do so. Or give us a review. Please do so. Don was so gracious enough for the last time. Just talking about what he's gone through as an agency owner, the Otis marketing agency here in Vancouver, Washington.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. And then you got really personal and just talked about how you guys did things you ain't never done before. And as a fellow marketing agency owner, consultant, he's my rabbit, but at the same time, I don't want to be following his footsteps. Nor it's not a bad thing. It's just I'm realizing how you got to carve a niche out for yourself in this part.
Yeah, absolutely. And every agency, every business is different, and so what works for us is not going to work for another agency. And
but that's not what they tell you when you first start, though.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. There's a tendency to think like as business owners that there is a right answer. There is one way of doing things and you have to uncover it. Whereas I see it much more like jazz or improv. Like there's a correct way of doing this chordal progression, but at the time you might say, no, I want some dissonance here. I need it to sound this way, or I want to bring in a loop from some other thing here because it's going to sound real cool. And so jazz, the chordal progressions, the bass rules, but then you improv over the top of that. And I think that's what business is. And if you're not going to approaching it like a jazz musician, then you're going to approach it really rigid, and opportunities that open up you end up missing because you're just focused on this note is supposed to come after this note.
That linear process when it's not always linear.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Or I mean, is it ever linear?
I don't think so. I mean, money coming in, money going out is pretty linear, but how how that happens is not.
Oh, for those that didn't catch it, if y'all are expecting, and this is even when I tell my students, my college students, for my own kids, like school as a whole is the only time where things are so structured that you are getting exactly what you expect. I don't like in life. I'm like, even like this Thanksgiving break, I'm like, we don't get Thanksgiving break as adults.
Right.
So anyways, let me not let me move away from that. So What's new in your marketing world, agency world, author world? What's been going on in these last, I think month and a half since we last talked?
Yeah, well, on the writing front, I could touch on that quickly. My fourth book should be released within the next few months.
Okay.
I'm doing the final line edits, and then it goes to the proofreader and cover designer is working, and then it'll all come together and publish hopefully by March.
Ooh.
But it's not set in stone yet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Seems like that's still it's not close, but there's still a lot of work left.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much. I mean, it's thousands of hours that goes into a novel.
But it's still close.
Yeah, exactly. We're right there.
Oh, man. How many hours would you say you put into this novel?
This one's a little shorter than my other ones, so I put in less time, but probably a good 2,500 to 3,000 hours.
How does if we talk about words? What does that equate to? Word count.
The actual final count of the final draft is about 70,000 words. So, yeah.
Wow.
My other novels are longer than that. There's one I'm working on right now that's around 200,000 words, so that one's really long.
Good God, Don.
Yeah.
You say you write every day?
Every day, 20 to 30 hours a week, religiously.
Wow.
Yeah. I wake up early, so I write early in the morning before work gets started, and then I write on the weekends.
Okay. That's your happy place.
Yeah. It's definitely not work for me. It's energizing. Days that I skip writing, I feel it. I'm off. I'm not as sharp. So it's definitely become part of my routine.
That's awesome, man. Well, congrats. Can't wait to hear more about that as we continue on throughout. I would say throughout the year, but this is the last month of the year. So next year. Well, next year. All right. So that's the author side. On the agency side, what's new?
Yeah. So we're in a really exciting time. Last time we talked a lot about the struggles with the business, and we talked about like the sales tax thing and stuff like that.
Yes, you got into it.
Yeah. So sales tax things.
By the way, thank you. I needed to hear that, so that's good information I didn't know until you came. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So we worked through that. But what we're seeing is we're still, as a company, pretty flat. We're not growing, we're not shrinking, but it's been flat for a long time. And a business without growth is a business that's on the verge of collapsing, on the verge of dying. You need to have growth on a consistent basis. It doesn't have to be huge growth. It doesn't need to be double digits. But if you're not growing, you're actually in a really dangerous place, and you might not even realize it. So for me, I took two of the folks from my leadership team to Cannon Beach. We went down there, or actually, I think it was Lincoln City. And
for those that don't know, that's about a 2.5 hour drive from here, where we go to. It's our type of beach, but you don't really play in the water. You can, but most people don't.
My wife says it's not a real beach. She's from Mexico. Okay. And she's finally convinced that it's at least gorgeous. She'll admit it's gorgeous.
It is that.
But she says it's not a beach, it's a shoreline. So I grew up with it, so for me it's a beach.
Right. When you talk about Southern Cal or LA, for me those are beaches. So,
yeah, exactly.
I'll have to side with your wife on that. I'm sorry. So you took your leadership team to Cannon Beach. Yeah,
and our goal was what is next for the business, because what is happening right now is not working. It's working okay, but it's not working great.
Talk about being good versus great.
Yeah. Well, being okay, being good is pretty boring to me.
Preach.
I didn't get into business because it was easy. I wanted the challenge, and shooting for mediocrity or even just a little above it is a pretty low aim for me, and it's not exciting. I want my staff, I want anything we do to be better than the last time we did it, better than we imagined, just constantly looking for, expecting more, pushing harder. And that's what drives me. Mediocrity, I'd rather just go get a job somewhere.
This is why I should have started off this video with, but in case if you haven't already, this video ain't for everybody. This podcast ain't for everybody. We know there is a very slim few folks that will watch this or pay attention to this because we are not trying to be employed. We are trying to run a company that does something significant, hence the challenge. So yeah, I'm glad you said that. It's important because I think sometimes people want to know, well, how do I know if I'm an entrepreneur? How do I know I'm a business owner? You know, well, that thing that you just said, I think people might need to repeat that or rewind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, so for us, what we did when we went to the beach was we said, okay, let's do an inventory of what do we know we're really good at, whether we can sell it or not, just what are in our bones that make us different and make us excel. And we highlighted a lot of things. The two main things that came down to were client experience, because our staff genuinely cares about their clients. And we see that in all their activities, in the results we get, the feedback, the long-term clients that we have. And then the other thing is our processes and operating procedures, basically operations. We're incredibly efficient because we've spent years building this machine, that finding efficiencies, every little gear we can turn to make it a little more efficient. There's a kind of a funny thing to me that the sign of a good business owner or a businessman who's being successful, a business owner who's being successful, to me is effort versus reward. And so it means minimum effort for maximum reward. And so if you want an efficient business, your job is actually to make it so that you work as little as possible, you and your staff. Yeah. So it's laziness it's aggressive laziness.
Aggressive.
It's we want to work, we want not to work. And it's not that we don't want to work. It's that we don't want to do work that doesn't add value. We don't want to do work that isn't creative. We don't want to do work that machines can do. We want to do the things that are creative, the things that only humans can do, strategies, things like that. That's where we want to spend our time. Right. And that's what people want to pay us for too. Right. They don't want to pay us to enter data into spreadsheets manually, you know? So anyway, so I'm getting off a little, but basically efficiencies, processes, that kind of thing. And so then we said, okay, so we know what we're good at. Now, where's the disconnect? What's happening? Because sales cycles are 4 to 5 times longer than they used to be for us. No exaggeration. The amount of meetings we have to have before a sale is made is many, many more meetings. There's more people involved. And in the meantime, small and medium-sized businesses are really getting choked out right now. It's incredibly competitive. Big businesses are buying up small businesses left and right. And then they have all this money that they can put into, and they can bring in big world-class agencies. And so your local roofing company, to compete on the digital marketing front, it's going to be very difficult for them. And so then they come to us and they say, we need a new website. And we say, yes, you do. It's wonderful. We can do this for you. And it's going to be $30,000 to $40,000. And then they go, wait, what? I don't have 30 to 40,000. This other company's offering it for 5,000. Okay, we'll go with the other company. The website's not going to be as good. It's not going to be as effective, all that kind of stuff. But in reality, we can't just keep saying, you know,
go to the other company.
Yeah, or keep complaining that pricing is an issue for us. Instead, we had to say, okay, well, how do we package this in a way that meets the market where they're at? Because right now, small businesses just can't afford what they used to be able to afford.
No.
So what we came up with is we are going to launch a whole new sub-brand, focus on a specific industry, and this sub-brand is Home Care Web Solutions. Very simple, very straightforward.
Home Care Web Solutions, okay.
Yep. And it's for the home services industry. So the verticals we'll be working with is roofing, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, and then sort of window sidings and doors all goes together.
Okay.
And then we will have strategies already built for each of those industries. And, you know, at our world-class level of strategy work, we will have that built in. the bulk of it already. And then a client signs with us, we refine it from there instead of starting from scratch, because we know the industry already. So we don't need to start from scratch.
No.
We refine it from there. They choose from a host of baseline templates, and then we customize them from there. Write all the copy, headlines, all that kind of stuff. And instead of paying us $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for that, they'll pay us a flat monthly fee of $750, $950. And then they can add on services like search, SEO, GEO, local listings, that kind of thing. So now all of a sudden these small businesses can afford us, and they can afford this, bigger agency work. They're getting US based, senior, talented people. This stuff that doesn't need to be client facing, like a lot of the coding work, that we do outsource. We have a partner in Guatemala with a small team down there of full-time people that they only work for us, no one else. And that allows us to have this balance where we can keep our customer service, this US based, who you're working with, they're responsible for the results, where in the background we can pay lower cost for development and things like that. We control all the quality control mechanisms. We don't rely on anyone for that. So we can ensure this really high-end product at a rate that's much, much more affordable. And then for us, we don't get those big bumps of $30,000 websites, but we get this nice, slow, steady incline of repeatable, scalable, reliable income.
Yeah, that's so huge. I know, because the max for my website is 10,000, and people look at me like crazy. I'm like, the websites I'm building are not. Our team is not going to build a $40,000-$50,000 website with all these other things. And when people look, and I had to also acknowledge the fact that they weren't my clientele,
right?
And I love how, and I'm saying that because I love how you said, look, I still want to serve people, but you went technical. You went to the I don't know what you would call that, but the professional services that people that work with their hands. That is a very very big underserved community when it comes to marketing services. What made you guys choose that?
Partially because it is underserved. Okay. Another part is that there's a generational shift happening in the trades right now, where a lot of the sons and daughters are taking over for their parents. Okay. And they're in their 40s and 50s, sometimes even 30s. And people that's my age, we are tech savvy, maybe didn't grow up with the internet, but the internet came in pretty young. Yeah. I was in high school when it really started to take off. And so these are people that think in a digital realm. And so they know they need better websites, whereas the previous owners are like, yeah, I don't give a crap about a website. It's word of mouth. Right. And the young generation's coming up and saying, we can't just rely on word of mouth, and I want to grow this business, and that requires a good website and good digital marketing. So I think the timing of it's really important. And the truth is, what makes on the technical side of like SEO and even the digital advertising side, what one roofer needs versus what another roofer needs is there's a very small difference.
Finite, yeah.
It's finding the voice of that new roofer and finding, what their values, what their unique selling proposition. Thank you. their USP. And highlighting that, but the bulk of the strategy is going to be the same from roofer to roofer. Yeah. So why not leverage all of that knowledge and that expertise and bring it to an affordable rate that, normally there's gatekeepers and you wouldn't be able to get the quality of work that we're going to be doing for them. With this new model.
Speaking of which, you're making it a little bit more technical as you go into that, because I think a lot of folks will say, like, I do want to use a word of mouth. I do have referrals. Why do I need marketing? But that's not the main thing that I'm asked, but that's the first one. The second level is there is certain templates that have SEO embedded into the template. Can you share a little bit why that's important? As in, word of mouth is good, but when you start taking your digital marketing serious, there's already preemptively plans in place for you can wireframe a website that's already come ready, built, ready made, whatever you want to call it, that has these key things. So I just know if you can go into that to tell the listeners that it's not you pulling stuff out of the air.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, word of mouth is great and is often one of the strongest channels, but do you want to be reliant on only one channel? That's scary to me. It's like people who were relying on Russia for their oil and they had nowhere else to go to, and then their war starts and all of a sudden they don't have oil. We get oil from all over the place and we produce it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be reliant on one thing. And it's the same thing with the sales channel. Word of mouth is one channel that you absolutely want, and you should work that as much as possible. But what about your Google reviews? That's word of mouth. And when you tell me, yeah, these guys did my roof and they did a great job, I'm going to check them out. It means I'm going to be on their website, and it means I'm going to look at their Google reviews. Even though you gave me the direct referral, I'm still going to check them out.
That's part of my due diligence. Of course, I'm going to go to the website and check it out.
And if you go to the website and it doesn't look on par with the quality of work that you're claiming that you can do, then you have a disconnect, and that creates mistrust. And I will judge a company on a website. If I go to a website and it's not well taken care of, well thought out, I don't trust that they're going to be able to provide that service for me.
Yeah.
It's the same as like if you show up with your branded van in front of my car and it's all scratched up and you open the door and a bunch of junk falls out. I'm like, that's not buttoned up. That's not polished. I don't want you working on my roof. It's the same thing with the website. Same thing with sales guys. Do you want your sales guys showing up in a tank top stained with coffee and a cigarette hanging out of their mouth? Or do you want them showing up in a button-up shirt, with some nice pants, or a gown or something? And so for durability as a company, you really want multiple channels. And all these channels now intersect with each other including the word of mouth. If you're not online,
yes.
That word of mouth, it's like a car going on 2 cylinders and you've got a V6 sitting there.
That's good. Another good example. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had it in my mind. Now I can't think of it when you build a website and it has certain codes that are SEO approved.
Like Schema?
Schema. Thank you. Yeah. That's what I wanted to talk about, because I think when I've gone to YouTube or the internet and search, how do I know this website? It takes a little bit. You have to know what you're looking for, but it's a schema. Can you explain to the folks what a schema is for those that are saying, what is the big deal about a website and how you can build it for me?
Yeah, so Schema is a markup language that robots read. So no human's going to look at your schema. And
True.
But the robots will. And the schema is essentially a way of organizing the content, and it's showing Google, here's how to understand our website. So don't just crawl it, but here's how it works. Here's an FAQ section, and it's designed specifically to do this thing. Or, for example, shopping carts. If you have a shopping cart, you want Schema on all your products. So when you have all these other websites that are pulling your product into there, it pulls from Schema. And if you don't have Schema, there's nothing to pull from. So you don't get syndicated as easily.
I hope y'all taking notes on this one. Yeah.
And it applies to GEO as well, Generative Engine Optimization. And that is
AI.
Yeah, AI search results. Schema is absolutely necessary for that as well. And on that note, you also need what's called an LLM.txt file now. That's kind of like the sitemap.xml, where it tells robots how to crawl a site. This tells AI bots how to crawl a site. So they make a little bit of a difference right now, but they will be making a much bigger difference in the future. The same way when Schema first came out, it made almost no difference, but within a year, it started making a huge difference.
Yeah.
So people have to get jumping on that as well.
Yeah, I just think it's important when we dive a little bit deeper. And also, when, let's say a year from now, when people are looking for like, why should I have a marketing agency build my website?
Yeah, there's all these, just the GEO, we have a 36-point checklist just for any content that we put up there for AI. That's not even including regular SEO. So, and you need to be doing both in order to rank. You can't rank for GEO without ranking SEO first. They're hand in hand. There's not one or the other. So you've got things like schema. You've got the actual copy and the structure of it. Are you using H1s and H2s correctly? Are you using bullet lists? Is schema calling out when it's a bullet list? Or what that bullet list is about. You've got to optimize images, alt tags, make sure the anchor links have proper semantic tags so that screen readers can follow them correctly and so that robots like them. There's all kinds of technical little details that make a website effective. And when you buy a typical template, even ones that say they have SEO structure, all SEO structure is how you write the copy and how you do the schema. So you can have technically structure in there. It doesn't mean it's good. You can hire somebody to write a book. It doesn't mean that they're a good writer.
Ooh, that's rich. I want folks to understand, because I do believe no company can exist anymore without a marketing strategy.
Yeah.
I think that's, and we're at our time, but I just think that's so important that I think gets left out, unfortunately, of businesses that they get their business up and going, and now they're like struggling. They don't have sales. They need leads. And now they need clients, but then they don't have a marketing strategy. And it's like, and I always say like, hey, it's always a moving target, but if you don't even have one, I'm scared for you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm amazed at how many businesses do not even have a marketing budget. They do some marketing, but they don't even know what they're spending or what their budget is. And I would argue, and I think I might have mentioned this last time too, but I would argue that a business should be spending 15 to 20% of their budget on marketing, minimum 5%. And if you're doing only 5%, you should probably be doing a lot of work yourself too to pile onto that. But if you're serious about growing your business, if you're serious about being stable, that means you have to have steady income and reliable income. And without marketing, you're just tossing things to the wind and hoping for the best. And I don't want my business stabilized off of which way the wind blows.
And that's a great pivot to come back to your home-based web services?
Yeah, home care web solutions.
Home care web solutions. Sorry, I chopped that up. Home care web solutions. So when is that launching?
That's a good question. It's a big program. There's a lot of work that's going into it. So
and you guys, then you must have just started then.
We just started, and we're hoping to launch within the next 4 months.
Okay.
That might be ambitious. I don't know.
I'll say, that puts you at the end of Q1. So
yeah,
Q1's a good time to work on it. But, yeah, that's
the team's jazzed. They're working hard. We're firing on all cylinders for it. Definitely not pulling all the weight myself. So it's nice.
Yeah. So you said they're jazzed, as in, what has your team told you? Because obviously you didn't make this decision to vacuum, but what kind of led, for those that are watching that say like, I need to make a change because I don't want to be stale and not growing. What was the feedback that was necessary for you to say, we're going to make a change?
Well, the best feedback was looking at the P&L over time. Number one feedback was just looking at the numbers.
Sales don't lie.
Yeah, exactly. And then in talking with the team, the team is incredibly dedicated. They're incredibly loyal. My retention rate for employees is really high, to the point that it surprises me often. But for the last 3 years, after COVID, we grew by leaps and bounds, and we were winning left and right, and it felt like being some winning. It felt like being on Miami for soccer, I guess. Even though I don't like rooting for Miami, but it feels like being on that winning team, and you're going to the finals, and everybody's cheering for you. And then you go through 3 years of not making it to the semifinals, and the team's struggling, and the fans aren't as excited. And so because you're losing, even though you've got the same team, and even though the team is doing great, you just keep losing. And that wears down on people. And now we see this is a new way of doing things. It's something we all believe in, that we can get behind, and we see how this can turn the business around.
Right.
And we'll start with this vertical, and then we'll do another vertical, another sub-brand later. And so they see the vision for it. So now we see, you know, we haven't had any big wins yet. We're building it. You know, this is pre-season.
Hey, love it.
Right. But they see the wins are going to come.
Yeah.
And we all believe it's going to happen this year.
That's
So
good,
it's
man.
exciting.
That's it. I was about to say that has to be exciting for you and your team. Congrats on that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
And then, you know, we talked about your author. We talked about the agency. And how about Don? How is Don doing?
I'm doing great, actually. I was, you know, being frank, I was getting pretty burnt out. I've been pretty burnt out for a while now.
It's kind of like so you're debunking the myth that if you do things correctly, or you're the owner, you won't get burnt out.
Oh yeah, that's absolute BS.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of owners out there right now who are already burnt out and have been sometimes for years. You know, this is third year for me of burnout.
Third year. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense, because you were just saying with all the bad times that you guys have been having.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but this has totally revitalized me because I see a way out. I see a way forward. And everything we were trying just wasn't working. I mean, moderately working, but not enough.
Okay.
And this I believe in. So now I'm jazzed again.
Good.
And I don't have burnout from working too hard. That's not the problem. I keep my hours restrained. I keep a good work-life balance, but burnout just from losing. You're not winning. You're not getting the wins, and that wears on you over time.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I like watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and I remember, and for those that haven't watched it, sorry, here's a spoiler, but you need to go watch it, is that when they lost to Detroit, I think after the third time or the second time, the Bulls were my team, and so when you were talking about watching a team always win, Michael Jordan always won, except for him against Detroit. And after I think the third time, or maybe it was their second time, they admitted that they were not physically capable of going back and forth with them. So they were like, after that season, the next day or the next week, they were like, no one's going on vacation. Everybody's hitting the weight room. And I think Jordan said he put on like 15, 20 pounds of muscle.
Wow.
Yeah. And then that was like, that's the year they beat, but that's when they won it all. And I think it's just that Michael also said, and they were having issues with Scottie Pippen and whatnot, but they were like, hey, look, he said, I can't do this by myself. And I'm tired of being a good player, but I can't get a championship. That was the argument against him about Bird and Magic at the time is, yeah, you can make all these points, but you can't win a championship ring. So he too was getting burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah. And if Michael Jordan's getting burnt out, like the rest of us are going to be susceptible to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those that are in the trade business and they're looking to maybe work with you, what does that look like? How can they get in contact with you, I should say?
Yeah, so gravitatedesign.com. This program will be up and running soon, but we're already ready to start working with folks who want to come in while we're building this out.
Okay.
We are going to be looking for some clients who will be coming at a much lower rate as our first clients in this new program. So sort of an incentivization there.
And is that for local or anyone that hears this, national, international? It doesn't
national.
matter.
Yep.
Okay. So within the United States, if you're in the trades,
yeah,
you're looking to push this out to anyone. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Absolutely. How do they get a hold of you?
Gravitatedesign.com, and there's a phone number there. You can call us or fill out the contact form, and we'll get in touch really quick.
Okay. All right. And is there any other examples that they could look at your site for?
Yeah, we have a bunch of case studies We have a work section where you can go through case studies. It's not just a portfolio. It actually breaks down how we do things and why we did things and all that jazz. Real transparent.
Okay.
So, yep.
All right. And this is going to be hopefully affordable for everyone that is looking for an affordable marketing strategy. And, well, you get a tangible digital product.
Yep. Yeah. There's something there at the end of the day.
Yeah. Which is
not just a bunch
awesome.
of talking.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on and sharing. This is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I love being on here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So for those that also are interested in following along with your book, though, too, is there for your other novels, if they want to check that out, where do they go to?
DonElliott.us.
Okay. All right. We'll put that in the show notes and the description for those that are looking to check it out. But any last words for those folks?
If you are local, come on by to Poor Choices Pub in Uptown Village, Vancouver. It's 1919 Main Street, and we have a blast there.
Yes, I need to go. I have not gone yet.
Yeah.
I need to go. I can't wait to check it out. I might do, we could even do a live there too.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check that out. That's POUR Choices.
Yeah. Choices.pub.
Okay. All right. Well, with this, y'all heard it from Don. Don, for those I say, here's a last word that you can go out. What's a quote that you could tell the folks out there for those that marketing, business development, or just for fun? What's a quote you want to share?
Oh, boy. It's tough. You might have to edit this pause.
I just see I did put him on the spot as he's thinking. It doesn't have to be a quote. You could also be just a suggestion or a tip.
Okay. I'd say the best quote that I received, and I might have said this last time, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but it is, if you have to work more than 40 hours a week on a regular basis to keep your business afloat, then your business is broken.
Oh, shoot.
We overcome business problems with hard work, and that's not solving the problem. It's actually just creating another. And by forcing yourself to work 40 hours, it forces you to solve the problems that matter most, because you don't have time to mess with any of the BS. So burnout can kill your business. And when you work too hard, you do not solve the right problems and you're tempting burnout. So you owe it to yourself to not work so hard.
No, you did not say that the last time. I'm glad I waited and asked. Shoot, that was good. So remember that, y'all. And you heard it here first with Nathan Webster and Don Elliott here on Let's Talk Marketing with In-Depth Podcast. Don, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate being here.
Until next time, y'all, we wish you nothing but the best. So dream big and Godspeed. We're out.